Hi guys, and today I have got for you the Mazda MX-5. Now this car actually has been out since 2016, but I actually haven't been able to review this particular generation of MX-5. I've driven a few of the other ones, but not this one. This of course is the RF version with, you can see, the folding hardtop, which I've got down at the moment on this car. So it'll be interesting to give this a try. It's a manual and it's a 2-litre with the, I think it's 184 horsepower. I'm at a media driving event today, so this is not the normal review that I do. So what I'll do is I'll put the stats and figures on the screen so that you can check them there. I'll do a quick walk around and then we'll take it for a drive. Before we do that, of course, make sure that you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy. Make sure that you are subscribing to browncarguy.com, and of course follow me on all the social media channels. Just search for my hashtag, which of course is #browncarguy. And if you enjoy my content, you can support it over at patreon.com/browncarguy. Cool, let's get into this. There it is, the Mazda MX-5. This is of course the 4th generation of the car, and of course it was for a while shared its platform with the Fiat 124 Spider. This car very much its own identity. It is the world's best-selling convertible sports car, two-seater convertible sports car. This one, like I said, doesn't have the canvas roof, and if you want to see the canvas roof, there is one over there on that car over there. As you can see, that's another one. But this one has the new hardtop arrangement, the folding hardtop arrangement, powered of course. I do like those little afterburner little tail lights on it. It's quite a compact looking thing, so you do wonder at 6'2" with long legs if I fit in it. Is there a luggage compartment? Yes, there is. Let's just have a look at it. The button is under here somewhere. There you go. Just a little nipple actually under there, and you have a reasonable size boot there, enough for a bit of shopping and maybe one of those roll-on cases. So that's pretty much it. But obviously some of the space is taken up by this arrangement. This whole canopy lifts up and then the roof goes under it, and then it comes out the same way. So this is the car. We have quite a nice spec here, leather interior and all the rest of it. Manual of course, so it'll be fun to try this out. Pretty basic arrangement, but that's all you need, and that's a formula that's worked for them very successfully. There are cup holders back here and also a little compartment as well, so that's quite handy, isn't it? So I won't go into too much detail, so just give you a little look here, and then you've got the modes and stuff down here, and there's the button for the power roof. Cool set of wheels on this one. They are 17-inch alloy rims on this car, so it'll be cool to take it. There's very interesting headlights there, kind of pinched and pinched nose arrangement, but very interesting. Still, good looking car, compact and yet kind of meaty. Got good stance. Right, time to take it for a drive. So before I take it for a drive, let's just see how the roof works. So as you can see, that whole bit comes off and up comes the roof like that. Fits over the top. Is it going to hit me on the head? No, it isn't. And then the back goes back into place. It's as simple as that. Took less than 80 seconds. Let's try that again. Let's open it up. It's a bit drizzly, a bit rainy today, but you know what? It's an MX-5, so we've got to drive with the roof down, haven't we? Having said that, I hope it doesn't start pouring down with rain. Quite a neat little arrangement. Okay, so here we go. We are in the Mazda MX-5. So this is my first time driving this particular generation of MX-5, so I'm really quite looking forward to it. I have driven, not the first generation, but I've driven the others. This is the 4th generation, obviously. Now the good thing I can report about this car is that I am fitting in it quite comfortably at 6'2", you know, with long legs, and not an issue so far. Okay, and immediately, you know, that power, and I'll put the stats and the specs on the screen, whatever, but the power and the torque is definitely there. It's a small car, it's a light car, even with this heavier contraption of the roof mechanism. It doesn't feel weighed down or anything like that. And if anything, it feels a bit light at the front. So it has that kind of sensation about it. But other than that, no buffeting. I've got the side windows up, and there is this window here I think that's like a blade here that's also meant to reduce buffeting. so that's quite handy. And so far, it's keeping things very calm in here. I'm just going to adjust the seat a little bit. There you go, just to give myself a little bit more room. But there is actually more room behind me, so I could go further. So if you were long-legged, you would actually have more space. Now I remember with the, I think it was the first gen, I didn't get on with the car because I got into the car, it was quite tight. I slammed the door and I managed to catch my knee between the door and the steering, and we didn't get off to a great start. And I think maybe that's why I didn't drive it at the time. But this one, no such issues, no such complaints, very comfortable, very, very spacious indeed. I wouldn't say that there's any issues. So looking around the car, I got 3 analog dials in front of me. Well, actually 2 analog dials. I got the rev counter, which is the big one in the middle, and I got the speedometer. I've got a gear indicator in the rev counter, and the dial on the left is basically a digital display that's showing me things like the trip meter and the miles per gallon and the temperature and all the rest of it, fuel meter, temperatures, all that sort of stuff. Down here in the middle, I've got my AC controls. I've got heated seats in this one. I've got obviously the buttons for the roof panel, but pretty basic. There's a start button there, there's a vent there, and there's 2 vents on each side, and another one in the middle, actually, kind of odd. And then there's a screen, so there's an actual entertainment screen as well in the middle there, so that's quite handy. And it's one of those cars where, okay, so down here, what do we got? We've got home, so this is the buttons for the infotainment system, so we've got nav and all the rest of it. Down here, traditional handbrake, so that's also quite good. An actual traditional handbrake, that's pretty handy, isn't it? More and more missed these days in some modern cars. So just having stopped at on a little bit of a hill, I can see that it has both stop start for the engine and also hill hold as well, so that's quite handy in a car like this. Like I was saying, quite spacious. The gear lever, short stubby gear lever, lower down but very perfectly positioned. That's why this Mazda is so popular. It's all very well sorted, great bonnet, a great view over the bonnet, I should say, a great bonnet even, in fact. It's got a nice sort of curve in the middle. It's very classical look about it, even though from the outside it doesn't really appear a classical shape. It's quite modern, I would say, compared to sort of the earlier versions of the MX-5. But from behind the bonnet, you still get a very classic look about it, with these kind of the fenders rising over the wheels and then dipping, and then sort of a bulge over the bonnet, so that to give that sense of potency and that power. The rear is basically hardly anything there. It just feels like that. It's very compact. You do feel like you're sitting in a small car, but not in an uncomfortable way. Just something that's really, tight around you. Good acceleration even at 4,000 RPM in what gear was I in? In 3rd gear. Okay, the hat's beginning to go now a little bit. So once you pick up speed, you start to get a little bit more buffeting. So far, so good. I've got to say, it's a really easy car to drive in that sense. Good space, good visibility, especially with the roof down. I haven't tried it with the roof up, and I'm not going to. But good visibility all around. Very light steering, in fact almost like I would say too light. There's no sports modes or anything like that, so I don't know if that changes. I guess it changes once you start to motor on a little bit. There are lots of buttons on it. I mean, I haven't got time in this review to go into the details regarding the infotainment, how that works, and the buttons and all the rest of it, but it does have all the facilities. It looks like it's got everything that you would need and expect from a modern car. Right, so I managed to find a little bit of a clear road now, and so managing to give it some beans a little bit and having a go. Now it's interesting, the torque and the power comes up immediately. It kind of goes light at the higher end of the revs, but you're not wanting in terms of momentum because it's got plenty of go, so that's not really an issue with the car. But it's one of those cars where you can just work it and keep it on the boil and just do it that way, and if you keep working at it, then you'll get the best out of it. Just reversing because I think that road is better, and I think again, it's so easy to reverse. There's actually a reversing camera. There we go. Let's give it some nice change, nice take up there. Fast changes, no problem at all. You can heel and toe in this car as well. The pedals obviously very well placed for that. Now really I want to just give it some around these corners a little bit. And you can see that when it's accelerating, the front of the car does lift a little bit and just feels to lighten up a bit. But that's not to say that you lose anything or lose any grip or anything at the front. Feels pretty bitey at the front. Steering does seem to have weightened up a little bit, and it's quite responsive. So it's not definitely, yeah, not the lightness that was there before. That's for sure. So again, heel and toe, not a problem. Yeah, you can turn in, hold it on the throttle as well, so you can almost steer on the throttle a little bit, powering through. Engine sounds good. Nice change up through the gears. Good grip at the back for sure. It's very, very planted. The front is just sort of, you guide it in, and you have to just lift off a little bit to get the nose to come back down, grip, and turn into the corner. So it's a little bit of something that it's about technique. It's about how you drive the car. And this is why, you know, the MX-5 has proven so popular and so successful, because it's not just a car that's quick, it's not just a car that's dynamically good, but it's a car that actually is something that, you know, you often say that for people that are new to rear-wheel drive cars, it's very grippy, very solid, doesn't break traction at all. For people that are new, as I was saying, to these sort of cars, this is an ideal starter car because it gives you a great grounding and experience firsthand on how these cars are designed, how they're meant to handle, the dynamics behind them, but also the skills that you need, you know, and it's, in that sense, it's a little bit old school. The power is lower in the gears, so you do have to work the gears if you want to get that power or to go find the torque, but it's not that you'll be wanting, it's just that you have to know how to work it to get the best out of it. It does have 6 speeds, so we're into 6 speed now because we're just slowing down a little bit. We're just cruising a little bit. Again, I'm not going to take this on a motorway today. I won't have time to do that. But this is just to get an idea of what this car feels like in its element, really, which is roads like this, right? So yeah, not a lot of revs in 5th gear. 4th gear is tractable. 4th gear is pretty good. Yeah, you can pull along in 4th gear, not an issue. 3rd and 4th is probably where this car lives best. So the main question is with this car is, am I having fun? And the answer is yes, I am, you know. Quite aside from the fact that obviously you've got the top down, so you've got roadster type motoring, which is always very important, very crucial, and that's part of the fun aspect. It is drizzling a little bit, it's raining, but I've still got the roof down, and I will continue to keep it down. Even though I'm using the wipers a little bit now, but I am enjoying it. I'm not getting chucked around, I'm not getting moved around, so that's quite good. The wind buffeting is pretty stable. But the ride is also very good. I should have mentioned that. It's firm, it's solid, but it's not jarring, it's not bone jarring. You know, I mean, you would go over the cat's eyes and you hear them, you feel them, but it's not uncomfortable as it would have been in an older, smaller car of this size where literally everything would transmit through and would be quite distinct. But in this car, I think it is actually very well. I mean, it's an incredible job, really. I mean, obviously, they've had 4 generations to refine and evolve this car. But the handling ride dynamics, the comfort ride dynamics, and the comfort handling dynamics are just very well judged, very well compromised, and ideally suited for even somebody, you know, tall like me to be able to get in this car and basically daily drive it. You can really understand and see why this car is so popular and so well loved, and, you know, one of the world's best-selling, well, it is the world's best-selling convertible roadster in its class. So in conclusion then, I've got to say, yeah, definitely a great little car, remains a great little car. I think, to be honest, it's better than I remember. They've evolved it to perfection. They've got it just right. Would I own one? Yeah, definitely I would consider. I mean, to be honest, it's not a car that's normally on my personal radar, but every time I get into one, it's a bit like the 911. You kind of get back into it and suddenly you're enticed again. So I have to say that, yeah, definitely, having driven this, you know, just guiding it through these corners a little bit, and it's just absolutely planted. It's very satisfying, very safe, but also quite actually usable as well. So in that sense, you know, a full thumbs up for this, and I can totally understand that anybody that wants to buy an MX-5, I think that I would put myself on that list as well. Definitely one to consider. Hope you enjoyed that review. I enjoyed the drive. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy and hit the bell icon and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. Whilst you're at it, subscribe to browncarguy.com and follow me on social media by just searching for my hashtag. That's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even on TikTok. If you love my content, then please consider sponsoring and supporting it, and you can do that over at patreon.com/browncarguy. And you know what? You can use my platforms to promote your product, service, or brand. My YouTube channel is now closing in on 3,000 subscribers as I record this. Total views are nearly 500,000, and the reach just over the last month is nearly 1 million. So join these amazing people as my patrons, including Mohammed Umaid in the UAE, Partha in India, a tech guru and social media consultant. Find him on parthans.com. Tom Conway Gordon here in the UK, Isaac Beauchard in the US. He's got some great deals on cool cars at bespokeautos.com. Reza Adil, check him out at Alizadeh Cigars on Instagram. Mohammed Qasim, business consultant. You can find him at wehms.com. Siraj Abbasi at Tiles Italia on Instagram for luxury floor and wall tiling. Mark Waddell in Canada. Zach Kogiani, a globe-trotting pilot with amazing images for sale at zachkogiani.com. And last but not least, my school champ Shaheer Hakki. Thanks for watching. More cool vids on the way. Catch you again in the next one.